In this video, I'm going to share with you 5 of my worst experiences during my time as a photographer and videographer in the music industry, including a story I've never shared before. This video is just for fun, of course, but I do think it's beneficial for people to know that it's not all fun, games, and pyro, and sometimes you will get royally when things go wrong. Starting with worst experience number 1. I was shooting for Raves at Contact Festival in Canada when my camera just stopped working mid-set. I was admittedly having a hard time staying calm as I was trying to figure out what was going on while also thinking about which photos I wasn't able to capture during that downtime. After taking out the batteries and memory cards and any other troubleshooting trick I could think of to my camera, I'm led to believe that it was this external battery grip attached to my camera short-circuiting. After I took the battery grip off, it was smooth sailing from there, but dang was that scary. Imagine being hired to shoot in another country and your camera stops working. Easily the worst experience relating to my camera. Now, for worst experience number 2. I've worked with plenty of artists over the years, across plenty of different festivals, and every single time, I've been paid accordingly. Sometimes payments are late, yes, but I'm paid nonetheless. Except for one time where I still to this day haven't been paid. But don't worry, I'm not expecting it anymore. Now, before you go thinking I'm going to mention who the artist or their manager is, I'm going to tell you right now that I'm not. In fact, I'm not even going to use any of their photos or videos as B-roll in this YouTube video, just so nobody thinks I'm hinting at anything. For context though, I will say that I worked with them 2 days in a row and I was only paid for one of those days. And I myself even gave them the benefit of the doubt that there may have been some miscommunication, which there wasn't, but the fact is that none of my follow-up emails were ever responded to. That was over 4 years ago at this point, and I don't know what I would do if it happened again, but yes, I'm also a victim of not getting paid. And just in case anyone is thinking why I didn't ask for a deposit or to get paid before sending the deliverables, that's just not how photography in the music industry works, whether I like it or not. Now for the final 3 worst experiences, believe it or not, they all happened back to back on the same exact trip. Starting with worst experience number 3, my red-eye flight to Florida. I don't know what it is about me, but I can't sleep on planes no matter what. And when I was booked for Forbidden Kingdom Festival in Orlando, Florida, I thought to myself, oh, I'll just sleep on the plane. For those who don't know, the flight from Portland to Orlando is between 5 to 6 hours, and I didn't get a wink of sleep. It was when masks on planes were still a thing, and I would put the mask over my eyes and my hoodie over my face and try everything possible to go to sleep, including the melatonin I had on deck, and nothing. I walked out of the airport in the Florida humidity at 6 or 7 a.m. on 0 sleep. Arguably one of the worst flights I've ever been on. And remember, that's not the end of it. The following worst experiences also happen on the same trip. Next up, for worst experience number 4, is the Florida thunderstorm that took place during the set I was supposed to shoot at Forbidden Kingdom. Shout out to Arias and their team for being flexible as I was navigating shooting in the rain only when the festival said it was safe for them to play again. And even then, the crowd only began to form towards the end of their sets. So after a horrible travel experience, the weather decided it wasn't enough. And the sickening and funny part of all of this is the weather wasn't done with me yet. Because the following day, on my way back to Portland, another storm caused my flight to remain grounded in Orlando. I eventually was able to take off later that day, but it was too late. When I reached my layover in Chicago, I had already missed my connecting flight. And for worst experience number 5, I was stranded in Chicago. And you think that I could capitalize on this and do something in the city since my new flight was now the following morning. But of course my luggage and that of hundreds of others were misplaced, with lines of what felt like thousands of people looking for answers and only one airline employee dealing with them. It was a mess. This led into the late hours where I had nowhere to eat, nowhere to stay, and Uber prices were more expensive than the hotels. So that's what I mean when I say stranded. I ended up hanging out in the lobby of a nearby hotel until Dunkin' Donuts opened up at 5 a.m., which, after everything I went through, was absolutely fire. My new flight finally took me home shortly after. Just goes to show you that there's more to it than being on stage shooting your favorite artists. And while I'm happy to share and laugh at everything in hindsight, 90% of the time you're not shooting or editing, you're figuring out logistics and dealing with situations like the ones in this video. Thank you for watching, liking, and subscribing, guys. I really hope you enjoy this different spin on a topic I cover a lot on this channel. Funny enough, that trip to Florida was actually vlogged in my Music Photography 101 video. Feel free to give it a watch now that you have that additional context, and I'll see you there.